Hello internet, how's everybody doing tonight? Still Wednesday, if you saw this morning's video, March 8th. And today would have been damn near a great day. I woke up early enough to get my daughter her power snack, as I showed you in the video earlier. Sorry about that noise pollution. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Live in but are these considered suburbs? I don't know where we live. We have a hospital about approximately 4 miles that way, and then we have another one right over here, approximately like 3 miles that way, maybe 3.5. Anyways, damn near perfect day. Power snack ready. We left early to take the princess to school. Well, me and her, we left early, and which gave her enough time. I told her, I'm like, honey, I know you're not gonna do it, but if you change your mind or if you decide to, you have the chance to get some breakfast. You know, I told her she had that option. She had enough time. I went and did some shopping for my queen. Sorry for the noise pollution. She needed some items from Publix, which I picked all them up, plus a couple extra things for me and the princess. Well, one strictly for the princess, one me and the princess share, and I bought an extra item for mom and the princess to share so they could eat. And then everything else was stuff that mom gave me a list for. But the princess got two math tests she did today. One she got a 100%, one she got a 93%. Super happy, super proud. What else went well today that I could say? You know, just everything, you know, that was supposed to go as planned went as planned, except for one thing. The first time that I rode the bike to the store to get my queen her stuff, when I got to the corner, I realized, I'm like, oh snap, I forgot something that I was supposed to return for mom. So I turned back around to go get it because it's only like 0.8 of a mile away. I come back around, I cross Hiatus Road to get back on our side of the street. And as I crossed it, my chain, it just literally like, it lost traction with the gear. It slipped to the bottom. So I tried to put it back up. I tried to ride it, it slipped again. So I was like, that's weird. Let me change it manually on the shifter and then put it on a higher gear. And I did that, and it was able to bring me home. So I thought, problem fixed. It's just the lower gear, for some reason, it wants to it wants to go lower and then slip off. So after I came home, I left. I was gonna leave again on the bike, you know, after I had, you know, fixed it. You know, I put the gear a little higher, and I put the chain on a higher gear, and then I walked it out to the front. I jumped on top of it. I started pedaling. After about like 20 seconds, like a couple seconds of pedaling, it slipped again, and I was like, what's going on? I take a look, and it slipped, but this time it didn't slip all the way to the end like it was doing before. It slipped in between the gears, which I thought that was odd. So I picked it up. I picked up the chain, and when I picked up the chain, I noticed that the sprockets, you know, like the gears and the sprocket, they were kind of like moving. So now I have a broken sprocket. which makes me very sad because the bike, I had it sitting for about 6 to 8 months, possibly a year. And the reason being is because I was having problems with the rear tire. I kept getting flats because when I go over like grass, there's like these little spiky things that sometimes will puncture the tire, and then they'll puncture the pneumatic or the tube, and then I get a flat. I kept taking it to Alligator Cycle because I didn't want to have to bother with, doing it all by myself. I kept paying them $20 each time. I must have changed it 3 to 4 times, spent 60, 80 bucks. After about the third, fourth time, I said, you know what? I put the bike in the garage. I left it there for, like I said, 6 months, 8 months, possibly a year, and I gave up. And then the other day, about 2 weeks ago, I saw a tube for sale at Walmart, and this one, it claimed that it has 20% more plastic to help reduce flat tires. So I got excited. I went ahead and got it, and I took it to the place where I was paying $20 a pop. I took the rim. I took the little it's kind of like a tape that goes on the inside of the rim, so that it doesn't it provides like a sense of like a little piece of it provides softness so that the tube doesn't hit metal from the rim and the spokes and whatnot. I paid them to do that. They told me $5 over the phone. When I went there, they charged me $8 plus labor. They installed the tire, and I just brought the tire home. I put it on, and the bike was working. Albeit it was leaking air slowly overnight still, but you know what? It was working nonetheless. I would just refill it in the morning, and I was so excited. I had a bike for about 2 weeks, which I hadn't had in such a long time. And for me, a bicycle equals freedom. And not just freedom, it also equals me being active, which, as many of you know, when you're active, it helps your brain release endorphins, I believe it is, or dopamine, one of the twos, which can help for people who are depressed. So, riding bike actually, makes me feel better. On top of the fact that I take my antidepressant and all the other meds that I take. But now the sprocket is damaged, and now I lost all my sense of freedom, in the sense of that I'm just stuck now back to walking. I can't ride anywhere. I can't go meet anybody, Like I said, this is a car-centered society, but with the bike, I can get around to and from because, if I have to, I have to. I'm not going to go out and ride 20 miles, but I'll go out and ride maybe like 6-10 miles, whatever, and still be able to, see some of my friends, or, get together at somewhere, have, whatever we do, have lunch, or, I don't do much anymore because I don't have much friends anyways, but nonetheless, it still gave me a sense of freedom. If I needed to go to the pharmacy, I can go without having to trouble Dad, who is an angel, bless his soul. He is super patient. He gives me rides everywhere, but it shouldn't have to be that way. I should be able to do it on my own. And even though I don't like cars, I love bicycles. And I think if the whole world switched to bicycles, that would be amazing. I mean, look at the Dutch. The Dutch, during the 60s or 70s, they wanted to do an American style city. So in other words, a car-centered city. And they did it. They constructed roads. They made it so that the priority went to vehicles. But then after a certain amount of time, they realized that they didn't like it. They didn't enjoy it at all. So you know what they did? They redid their whole infrastructure to make it more bicycle friendly, just like the rest of the country. Meaning that here in the U.S., it's it is possible, completely possible to do it, but it will never happen because of policy, because of the auto industry, who I'm sure has a lot of lobbyists in Congress, and not to mention the bailouts that they get, which at the end of the day, if millions of dollars go to pay out to the CEOs who end up retiring, they get severance packets, it's just ridiculous. But look, I'm not saying not to drive a car. If you have a car, if you can afford the the insurance, you can afford the maintenance, you can afford the gas, and the upkeep and all that stuff, by all means do it. But one thing I don't like about cars is they emit carbon dioxide into the air. I think carbon monoxide as well. When you have your AC turned on, there's a phenomenon called that, I might have linked a video to one of my videos, that when people crank on their ACs to cool down their house, that emits hot air outside. So essentially, you're making the environment hotter just so you can be cooler inside where you are. And there was a good video that I saw about how Hong Kong is like a frozen city, because over there they give incentives for people to have ACs cranked up all the way. And yeah, there's people out there that did well for themselves. I'm very happy for them, and it's through no fault of their own, because it's just part of the culture. It's part of the American culture. We're a car-centered society. I don't really think anybody wants to make a change. Now they're talking about electric vehicle cars, but let's be honest, the emissions that are emitted just by making those cars, you might as well just buy a used car, and you're actually recycling it, and you're not emitting a whole bunch of emissions from making a brand new car. And as far as the long run goes, those electric cars, they still need to draw energy, and that energy has to come from somewhere. And let's face it, that energy is not all renewable. If we use 20% renewable energy here in the States, I think that's probably about as much as we use. The majority, the rest is probably all coal, and probably still a couple of nuclear power plants, and wind turbines. I don't know if they're using the ocean or dams, and then ocean currents, I believe, can generate energy as well. But everything is just one cluster F. I lost my freedom, which I had for about 2 weeks. I was so excited. The other day I went for a ride, which was I want to say 3 plus another 2. It was 5. It was like about a 10-mile round trip. About 2 of those miles I had to sprint as hard as I could. My heartbeat went up really fast. I got, I had that feeling, like that feeling of being alive, and now it's gone. Now I'm gonna, I owe mom. I just paid her $100 today from some money that I made from working, and I still owe her. Thank goodness I got a little discount on my medication, so now I only owe her $460 as opposed to like 360 as opposed to 390, because my medication and my doctor's visit comes out to just shy of $500, and that's just so I can maintain my, even though I'm in the MAP program, which is supposed to be so that I don't relapse, it also helps me with my depression, because I also take an antidepressant. I take medication just for my general health. I take hypertension medication, and the medications that just so happen, the medication that happens to be for preventing relapse, that combined with the medication that I use so that I don't have panic attacks, which happen after the things changed at home. I'm not gonna get into specific facts. I started having panic attacks, and I started suffering from a lot of anxiety. That's when I started taking, on top of the opioid that I was taking, which is buprenorphine. I started taking a benzodiazepine, and but between uh, the opioid and the benzodiazepine, it's helped me tremendously with my with my depression. You know, like the other day, mom asked me, she's like, "David, how you doing?" And I told her, I'm like, "I'm doing great. I just took my medication. I feel great." You know, and that's why I always, I'm very grateful for my psychiatrist. She's given me very great advice. I would like to eventually do some of the things that she's been telling me, because she's not just a regular psychiatrist. She's a therapist. She listens. She gives me advice, and there's something I've been wanting to do that she told me to do, which I should have told my sister for like a Christmas present. That would have been a better gift. Which but it didn't happen. But it's gonna happen soon. I'm gonna keep my head up. Now I just gotta find out. I like the bike that I have. I have bought it used for $50. It's a Trek. It's old. It's an old Trek. It doesn't have disc brakes. It's so used, like nobody was gonna want to steal it, which is another thing I like. Because every time I had a new bike, the first one bike, my sister bought me a bike one time when I was walking her dogs, and that's how I was repaying her. It got stolen literally on Hollywood Boulevard, and between 58th Avenue and 441. And where I parked it, it was right on the boulevard. It was a McDonald's, and the McDonald's had a drive-through, and at the end of the drive-through there was a stop sign, and that stop sign was literally right in front of the boulevard. So I locked my bike, but at that time I didn't have a U-lock. I had one of those combination locks, which it wasn't that thick. So I guess if you have if you're strong enough and you have a scissor cutter, you can just cut it. And that was a $700 bike, and just like that, it was gone. Then I went ahead and saved up. I got the same bike, but the upgraded one. And then I had that for a little while, and then one day this one guy who apparently had trouble. He had insecurities. His the lady who he lived with, she called me and she told me, she's like, ask him if he has seen $20 on the floor, because a friend of mine dropped $20. So I didn't think anything wrong about it. So I said, hey, by any chance, have you seen $20 on the floor? And the man, he's no longer with us, bless his soul, but at the same time, he's no longer with us. And he goes off on me. He says, oh, what are you saying, I'm a thief? Da 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 da. He goes out and he gets, if not a baseball bat, like a stick, and then he hits the tire of my bike to the point where it's like, now it's not even, it had to be trued. So the bike just, it kind of lost its, it just wasn't the same anymore. I ended up pawning it one day, and then I just never got it back. So those were right there between those two bikes. That was $1,500. Those were both Specialized. After that, I realized I'm not gonna get anything special like that. I'm gonna try to find something that is maybe either at a pawn shop, or I know that Walmart now has some bikes that are of higher quality. Maybe something with an aluminum frame, and where the gear shifts are the quick shifts, not the ones that you turn. And most bikes nowadays have disc brakes. They're mechanical. They're not hydraulic. But you know what? As long as it brakes and it works, that's fine. But now between paying mom, thank goodness, now it's only about $460, I think, and between my psychiatrist and my medication. And I'm hoping that might change soon, so that the couple days that I do work, if I get to work 2, maybe 3 or 4 days a week, I'll be able to make enough money to pay her back, and then maybe save some, and that's all I can do for now. If anybody out there wants to feel generous, if if they see this and they say, hey, look, here's a guy who had just completely lost his freedom and could use the help, I appreciate it. If not, it's all good. I know everybody's going through a tough time. A buddy of mine, I don't even want to get into it, but wouldn't even do me a favor. I was just saying, can you just find out what the fee is to send me money through PayPal? He didn't even want to do that for me. I don't know. I wasn't asking. I mean, I did ask him if he could, but even if he couldn't, I said, could you at least find out what the fee was? And he couldn't even do that for me. So, but I'm making some moves. Mom had told me to there's things I gotta get done because my documents are not up to date. Some of my documents. So I started that today, and so that's a plus. That's something else that went good today. But the bicycle thing just really messed me up. I'm gonna show you guys a video of what the sprocket looks like, and then after that the video is done. So I thank you guys for watching. Have a blessed and wonderful evening. Please be kind to one another, and thank you very much for watching this video. Bye. I know I say this a lot, but if anyone is willing to help me out through the PayPal me to send some money, I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much.